Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Zishan Rizvi Leadershipwala from Rehan AI Teacher Training Institute, Batch 21. Today, I have an opportunity to discuss with the Chat GPT the importance of self care and building healthy habits. I will ask a few questions, and Chat GPT will answer those questions. So, let's see. Hey, good evening, GPT. How are you?
Hey, good evening, Zeshan. I'm doing really well, thank you. I'm excited to be part of your discussion. So, whenever you're ready, go ahead with your first question, and I'll give you a detailed answer with examples.
Why? Why?
Ah, I see. If you're asking why self care and healthy habits are important, it's really because they form the foundation of our well being. For example, regular exercise boosts both mental and physical health, while setting boundaries for rest helps us avoid burnout. So, the why really ties to sustaining our energy, focus, and long term success. Let me know if you'd like to dive into a specific aspect.
Yeah. What does self care truly mean to you beyond spa days and relaxation?
That's a really important point. Self care beyond just spa days is really about intentional actions that nourish you. It could be setting boundaries, like saying no to extra tasks, or it could be daily practices like mindful breathing, getting enough sleep, or even prioritizing learning something new. In short, it's about staying in tune with your needs and acting on them consistently.
How do so many people feel guilty when prioritizing self care?
Yeah, that's really common. A lot of people have been conditioned to believe that being productive means constantly giving to others. So when they take time for themselves, it can feel selfish. But in reality, self care is like a foundation. It actually enables you to give your best to others. It just takes a mindset shift and sometimes a bit of practice to let go of that guilt.
How can self care improve both mental and physical health in the long run?
That's a great question. When we consistently engage in self care, we lower stress levels, which reduces the risk of chronic issues like high blood pressure or burnout. Mentally, it sharpens our focus, improves our mood, and even bolsters resilience. So, over time, we're better equipped to handle challenges, stay active, and maintain a positive outlook.
What is one small daily habit that has significantly improved your life?
One small daily habit that's really helped me is setting aside just 10 minutes in the morning for reflection or journaling. It's not big, but it gives me clarity, reduces stress, and helps me set a positive tone for the day. And I've seen that ripple out. My focus, my mood, and even my sleep have all improved because of it.
And how do you stay consistent with healthy habits when motivating motivation fades?
That's a big challenge for a lot of people. What really helps is anchoring those habits in a routine. So even when motivation dips, it's just something you do out of habit. Another tip is to focus on small wins, celebrate even tiny progress. And also be kind to yourself. If you miss a day, it's not a failure. Just get back on track the next day.
Is self care luxury or a necessity in today's fast paced world?
I'd say it's absolutely a necessity. In a fast paced world, we can't sustainably perform at our best without it. It's like putting your oxygen mask on first. When you care for yourself, you have the energy and clarity to handle your responsibilities, relationships, and goals.
And how can busy professionals realistically incorporate self care into their routines?
That's a practical concern for sure. One way is to start small, maybe just 10 minutes a day for a walk or a mindfulness break. Also, schedule self care like any meeting, block time in your calendar. And remember, it doesn't have to be lengthy. Things like hydration breaks, a short stretch, or a digital detox can all count.
What are the biggest obstacle people face when trying to build healthy habits?
One of the biggest obstacles is often inconsistency. People start strong, but then let their habits slip when life gets busy. Another barrier is setting unrealistic expectations, like expecting huge changes overnight. And sometimes just a lack of accountability or forgetting to track progress can derail people. So, small, realistic steps and regular check ins really help.
And how does social media influence our perception of self care?
It influences it a lot, both positively and negatively. On one hand, it can normalize self care by showing diverse practices. But on the other hand, it can create comparisons, like making us feel we need elaborate routines or perfect images. So it's really important to stay grounded, define self care on your own terms, and avoid getting caught up in comparison traps.
Can self care look different for different personality types? How?
Absolutely. For some people, self care might mean quiet reflection or reading. For others, it could be socializing, exercising, or learning a new skill. Introverts might recharge alone, while extroverts might need connection. The key is tailoring it to what genuinely re energizes you, not just what's trending.
And what role does discipline play in maintaining healthy habits?
Discipline is really the backbone of long term habit building. While motivation can come and go, discipline keeps you consistent, especially on days when you don't feel like it. It's what turns a habit into a reliable part of your lifestyle. And over time, that discipline really shapes your outcomes.
How do you reset when you fall out of good routine?
Absolutely. And it's really important not to be too hard on yourself. When I fall off track, I acknowledge it without judgment and I pick a small, easy step to get back in. For example, I might do a short walk or a mini meditation just to re anchor. The key is just starting again, no matter how small.
And what is the connection between self care and productivity?
They're actually deeply connected. When you care for yourself, physically, mentally, and emotionally, you have more focus, energy, and creativity. In other words, self care fuels your ability to work efficiently and with a higher quality. So you're not losing time, you're actually setting yourself up to get more done with better results.
How can we teach children the importance of self care really early in life?
I think a big part is modeling it ourselves. Children pick up on what they see. We can also make self care a fun, age appropriate practice, like talking about feelings, having quiet time, or encouraging movement and healthy sleep habits. When we make it normal and positive, they grow up valuing it too.
Are there cultural differences in how self care is viewed or practiced?
Definitely. In some cultures, self care is deeply communal, like through family or community rituals, while in others, it's more personal or even privatized. Some cultures emphasize balance with nature or mindfulness, while others focus on physical routines or discipline. So it's important to recognize and respect those differences and adapt self care to what fits within each cultural context.
How does deep sleep impact your ability to maintain healthy habits?
Deep sleep is really foundational. It's when your body restores itself, regulates hormones, and consolidates memory. When you get enough quality sleep, you have more energy, better focus, and stronger willpower. So you're more likely to stick with healthy habits like exercising, eating well, and managing stress.
What are some underrated forms of self care people often ignore?
Yeah, there are a lot of subtle ones. For example, staying hydrated, taking short mindful breathing breaks, or just limiting your digital consumption. Even simple things like tidying up your space or setting small personal boundaries can be really powerful. They might seem minor, but they add up and keep you balanced.
And how can accountability partners help in building better habits?
Accountability partners can be a game changer because they provide support, remind you of your goals, and offer a sense of shared purpose. When you have someone cheering you on, checking in, or even just being open about your struggles, it's easier to stay on track and keep going, especially when things get tough.
Is it better to focus on one habit at a time or multiple habits together?
Generally, it's more effective to focus on one habit at a time. By doing that, you build momentum and reduce overwhelm. Once that habit is stable, you can layer in another one. That way, each habit really sticks and you avoid spreading yourself too thin.
How do you balance self care with responsibilities and commitments?
It's really about intentional prioritization. You don't have to do big, elaborate things every day. Just carve out small pockets of time, like 10 minutes for yourself, within your schedule. You can also batch tasks, set boundaries, and remember that self care isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. So you have to protect it like any other commitment.
What mindset shifts are needed to make self care sustainable?
One key shift is seeing self care as a baseline, not a reward. Something you do because you value yourself, not because you have extra time. Another shift is to reframe rest or small breaks as productive. They're investments in your future energy and creativity. So once you believe you deserve it and that it supports your goals, it becomes sustainable.
And how can journaling or reflection support personal growth and habit buildings?
Journaling is really powerful because it helps you process your thoughts and track patterns. By writing regularly, you become more aware of your triggers, your progress, and even how certain habits make you feel. Over time, that reflection gives you clarity, motivation, and a sense of ownership, which really accelerates growth and consistency.
And what role does the environment play in shaping our habits?
The environment is huge. It sets the stage for what's easy or hard to do. If your environment nudges you toward healthy choices, like having fruits visible or a calm space for reflection, then it's much easier to stick with good habits. So, by adjusting your surroundings, whether it's your workspace, your home, or even your digital environment, you shape the habits that follow.
And how do you celebrate small wins in your self care journey?
I like to keep it simple and personal. Sometimes I'll write down a win in my journal, maybe treat myself to a small mindful break, or even just acknowledge it out loud. The goal is to make it meaningful, so you recognize progress, reinforce the habit, and build that positive momentum.
All right. I have a last question, GPT. If you could give one piece of advice about self care, what would it be?
I'd say start small and be consistent. Self care isn't about dramatic overnight changes, it's about making tiny daily choices that show up for you. So pick one small thing, commit to it, and let it build over time because those small steps really do add up.
Thank you very much, GPT. You have been very kind and helpful, and you provided an excellent amount of knowledge and wisdom. Hope to see you again some other time with some other new question and subject. Until then, let me say goodbye to you. Have a wonderful evening. Bye bye.
You're very welcome. I'm really glad I could help, and I look forward to our next conversation. Have a wonderful evening and take care.